Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Hello and Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF, Bava Metzia Kuf Tes Vav. We are holding at Tanu Rabbanan, which is 7 lines off the top of the Yom. Tanu Rabbanan, we have learned in a price. The Pasuk says, look, don't go into the Leiva's actual home to take a mashkein, right? Leitovoi el beisoi la'avoit avoitoi. So we learn lebeisoi yata nichnas. A lender may not enter a borrower's home. He can't go into his leiva's home to pick up a collateral. Aval ata nichnas lebeisoi shel orev. But you are allowed to do so when it comes to taking something from an orev, a fellow who served as a guarantor, as a backup for that loan. So you can't, sort of degrade the leiva, enter his private, space. You have to give him his honor, and you can't just trespass his property. But an arev is different. V'cheinu omer, as the pasuk says. Now the Teres Chaim explains that the Gemara is simply presenting psukim where we see that an arev is fully, it's no jokes, he's fully responsible for repayment of this loan. So we have the pasuk, one pasuk in Mishlei, which reads like this: Lokach bigdoi, likach bigdoi ki arav zor. Look, he took his garment he took the garment from the arev because he presented as an arev for a stranger, for another person. So basically, we're highlighting the true commitment, right? The severity of the commitment that an arev is binding himself to. He can lose his possessions on account of a defaulted loan that he's guaranteeing. We have another pasuk, B'nei my son, another pasuk in Mishlei actually. If you have committed yourself as an arev for somebody, you've shaken hands on it. This is another point, totally unrelated. You've gotten yourself all entangled by, by speaking insulting words to somebody. So how do we remedy these situations? My son, just follow these instructions and you'll spare yourself. Kibasa b'kafreyecha lech hisrapes urahav reyecha. Okay, so that's the pasuk. And the meaning is like this. We're addressing two separate situations. Firstly, imaman yesh lebiyatcha. So, kibasa b'kafrei echa is referring to that other situation, the first pasuk, where you're shaking hands on a commitment to be an arev. In that case, the pasuk continues, lech hisrapes. It's like a joint word. Hater loy pisasya. Hisrapes. Hater loy. Open up your hand. Open up your palm. Offer your money. Pay up, as per your arev commitment. Hater loy pisasyat. Vim lav. Alternatively, if your issue is more personal, if you've insulted somebody, harbi alav reim. So urahav reyecha means go bring a whole slew of, get some friends to come over to appease him, and hopefully get him to forgive you and make amends. Litzad sheni. Alternatively, Rashi says litzad sheni is like davar acher, a nupshat. In the halacha that we're learning about not entering the home of the leiva because of the pasuk leisovei el beisei, right? You can't enter his home, and we learn like this: his home lebeisoi, the home of a leiva iyata nichnas. You can't enter his territory to collect a loan. A leiva is like an eved, right? The pasuk says eved leiva leish malva. A person borrows, he's like a servant. He's totally bound to his lender. So there, the Torah says, give him his space, give him his respect, keep away. But let's say this fellow owes you money on account of a job you did for him. He hired you as a katav, as a porter, to schlep stuff. L'schar chamor. He owes you money for transporting his goods with your donkey. L'schar pundak, he owes you for a hotel stay. L'schar duki noise, for painting his house. So in this case, you're allowed to. You're allowed to go in to take a mashke. Perhaps this allowance applies even if he turned it into a milva. That payment that he owed you on account of a job was now transformed, repackaged. He gave you a sort of a due date, it turned into a loan. In that case, it assumes the status of a regular loan, which prevents the fellow from going in and getting a mashkin. Tamalema, that's why the pasuk says, Mashas mu'uma, any type of claim, any type of loan, even if it was just recently transformed into a loan status, the same halacha applies. Says the Mishnah, Almona ben shehi aniyo, ben shehi ashira. On the topic of a mashkin, there are exceptions. You can't take a mashkin from a widow, whether she's poor or wealthy. Ein mimashkin, you may not take a mashkin from her. Why? Shenemar. Pasuk says, "Leisachbel beged almana." You're not allowed to take from an almana. Tana Rabbanu, we have in a braysa a machlikas. Almana ben shehi aniya, ben shehi ashira, independent of her financial state. Ein mimashkin oisa divrei Rabbi Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Any almana, off limits. Rabbi Shimon Omer, it depends. Shira, if she's wealthy, in which case you're not compelled to return the item to her on a daily basis. You took a mattress or whatever, she has another one to spare, right? So in that case, there's no issue. Ashira, so you can take the mashkin from her. But if she's aniya, which compels you to come back and return the item, the plowshare in the day and the mattress at night, in this case, the Torah doesn't allow taking the mashkin to begin with. You know why? Because you're compelled to return it to her, and that creates reputation issues with her. You're generating, a bad name, a bad reputation amongst her friends and neighbors, who may notice this visitor coming by, milling around. It's not fair to her. So basically, according to Rabbi Shimon, we have this differentiation. The Torah is concerned about protecting her good name, and if she's an aniyah, which would generate this ongoing, constant traffic, returning and taking, don't take the beged of the almana. A woman on her own, it's not appropriate. Whereas according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Isra applies regardless of her financial state. Ashira aniyah, don't take the beged of the almana. Says the Gemara, Lememra, do you mean to say the Rabbi Yehuda who applies this as a universal prohibition against taking any almana's mashkin, irrespective of these reasons? Rabbi Yehuda Darish time of the krok. He doesn't base the mitzvah, the halacha, he doesn't focus on the time or the reason of the halacha. Don't take a mashkin belonging to an almana, period. For Rabbi Shimon Darish time of the krok, whereas Rabbi Shimon does focus on the reasoning behind the halacha. In this case, the reason is protecting her reputation, which is only applicable in the case of the poor almana, which requires you to come back and return on a daily basis. Is that so? Rabbi Yehuda does not look at the reason. Rabbi Shimon does look at the reason. But if we look elsewhere, we find that actually it's reversed. Rabbi Yehuda does tweak the halacha based on the reasoning behind it, and Rabbi Shimon does not. This is a mitzvah to a melech. You can't have too many wives, right? Rabbi Yehuda marbu. Now, first, before we continue, the pasuk. What does the pasuk say? You shouldn't increase the number of wives. And his heart should not be led astray, presumably by this type of activity, right? So based on this pasuk, Rabbi Yehuda marbu, we give him a license to take as many wives as he wants, provided they're well-behaved wives. They're not going to cause him to go astray. So here Rabbi Yehuda does focus. In fact, he tailors the halacha based on the reason. No problem of straying of hearts, no problem with the number of wives. Rabbi Shimon, no. It's unconnected. Even if he has one wife, who gets him distracted from proper behavior, and he shouldn't marry her, even one. So why then did the Torah focus on many wives? Torah here is referring to even wives which are upright, upstanding women, like Abigail, like Tzedekis. Too many is no good. So here we find that Rabbi Yehuda is the one who tweaks the halacha based on the reason. Rabbi Shimon does not, which is the exact opposite of the previous brisa by the Mashkin. Says the Gemara, no, actually not. Lo'ilam Rabbi Yehuda lo yidarash tamid dekra. Certainly Rabbi Yehuda does not focus on the presumed reason of the halachas in the Torah. But here by the Melech's wives, the Torah specifies the reason. It's not us guessing or suggesting a reason for the halacha. The Torah itself gives us the reason. Don't have too many wives, and we learn, ma tama, it's a reason. My time, why shouldn't he have so many wives? Mishum, precisely because of this, the lo yasser lavavai. So we learn from here, says Rabbi Yehuda, the problem is only when, in fact, A equals B. When many wives generate hasaras halev, otherwise no issue. But in the case of the almana, there's no mentioning in the Torah as to the reason for the halacha. Therefore, says Rabbi Yehuda, doesn't matter what she is, don't take her mashkin. For Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon goes comes from the other direction. Michti, let's take a look. Typically we do suggest the reasons for the halachas and tailor the halachas based on that, right? That's typically what we do. Such as by the mashkin of the amana, the reason is presumably because of the shem ra, which only applies to the aniyah, which has constant traffic. Okay. So, being that we on our own will suggest the reason, so why does the Torah by the Melech's wives have to add the reason? We figure it out on our own. All the Torah would say is, don't have many wives. It's unnecessary for the Torah to add the reason. We can figure it out on our own. I'll know on my own my time. You know why? Mishum, because of this problem to lo yasser. So why does the Torah add that point? Lo yasser the kasav rachman alamali. Oh, not as a reason, says Rabbi Shimon. Actually, to add another layer to the halach, to tell you that there are 2 points here, 2 separate points. You can't have too many wives, and afilu achas, even if it's just one wife, who has this detrimental effect on him, he can't marry. So that reconciles both sugis. Continues the Mishnah. The pasuk says you can take a mashkin, but not an item which is used for food preparation, right? So food-related equipment, such as a millstone, off limits. A person takes a rechaim, he's over mishum leisase. Torah says, don't take. Rechaim v'rochav. Rechaim is the bottom stone, rochav is the one that rides on top. And the pasuk concludes, you know why? Ki nefesh uchayvel. You shouldn't be taking anything that's food related. So if you take a rechaim, you're over. V'chaim mishum shnei kelim. In fact, when a person takes the full piece of equipment, he has transgressed 2 yisurim. There are 2 separate parts to the millstone. Shnei malayach b'rechaim, the bottom part, v'rochav, the upper part. This applies not only to this specific piece of equipment, it also includes any food-related equipment. You can't take something which is used for nefesh, for oichel nefesh. So how many lavim is one over? Like a shtayim, right? Pasuk says, don't take a rechaim, don't take rachav, don't take anything that's food related. So a person takes a rechaim, he's over because he took a rechaim, but also because it's food related. So he gets 2 isurim. Chaval rechaim, he took the rechaim like a shtayim, he gets 2 averis. Mishum rechaim, because of that. Mishum kenefesh uchayil, because it's also included in the general klal. It's covered by that umbrella expression, kenefesh uchayil, anything food related. Likewise, if he's chayil rechaim v'rachav, both pieces of equipment, he gets 3 isurim. Like a shalish, mishum rechaim, v'rachav, and also mishum kinefesh uchayvel. That's Rav Huna's opinion. That a general prohibition, which has subsets, can also be counted as a lav. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, no, he says no, it's either or. Chavar rechaim, if he gets the rechaim like achas, He gets one malchus because of rechaim. V'rochav, he takes a rochav like a achas. He gets another malchus. Rechaim v'rochav, he takes both. Okay, like a shtaim, he gets two. But kinefesh u'chayvel, that end of the pasuk is not going to address these pieces of equipment. L'shar dvarim udasa. That's coming to just to include other food-related equipment. It's not coming to add another isser to rechaim v'rochav, which were already mentioned in the pasuk, explains Rashi. So bottom line, we have one pasuk which discusses specific items. Rechaim, don't take. Rochav, don't take. And anything food-related should not be taken, which covers other pieces of equipment. Does it also cover the Rechaim, Rochav mentioned in this pasuk? Rabbi Yehuda says yes. Rav Huna says yes. Rabbi Yehuda says no. And we find a similar discussion in Maseches Pesachim regarding the form of eating the Korban Pesach. The pasuk says, eat it only roasted, not raw or cooked. No, don't eat it raw or semi-cooked. Ubashal, mivushal b'mayim, or cooked. Kiim tzli. Rather, it should be eaten roasted. Don't eat it any other way, anything other than roasted. So once again, the Torah here is being specific. No is off limits. Mivushal is off limits. Anything other than properly roasted is off limits, right? Kiim tzli. Is this coming to add another layer of isur to the previously mentioned cases? Meaning, a person eats no. How many isurim did he violate? Don't eat no, okay. But what about the other isur? Don't eat anything other than roasted. Is that also going to cover this? So he gets a total of 2 isurim. We have a machlokes. And the Gemara wants to tie it into our discussion as well, because it's a similar concept. We have general category and subsets within it. Lema Abaye v'Rava, shall we propose that Abaye v'Rava beplukta to Rav Huna v'Rebbe Miflagi are having a similar dispute to the Amiroyim in our sukkah. The Amar Rava says like this: a person ate the Korban Pesach in a no form, like a shtaim, he gets 2 malchus. He transgressed the specific and the general. Mishum no, don't eat no. Umishum kim tzli, don't eat other than roasted. So he did 2 things wrong. Likewise, if he ate mevushal, cooked Korban Pesach, he gets 2. Like a shtaim, mishum mevushal, he ate mevushal, which is an isur. Umishum kim tzli, no mevushal, he ate it. No, and also in a mevushal fashion, he gets a total of 3, like the Rechaim v'Rochav, right? Like a sholish. Misham no, that's 1. Umisham mevushal, that's 2. And the umbrella isur misham le'sechlenu kim tzleish, which covers both. Abaye Amar no. Ain't like an lasha b'chlolis. It's a lasha b'chla. It's a general expression which covers many details. You don't get malchus for that. You only get malchus for the specifics, for the details, not for the general summary. No, le'ma Abaye damak Rabbi Yehuda. It would seem that Abaye, who discounts the lasha b'chlos, the general expression, is like Rabbi Yehuda, who says that kinefesh u'chayvel, that general reference to all food-related equipment, cannot go back and add another layer of isser to the specific items mentioned. So Abaye works with Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi, who says you can add for that. Damak Rav Huna, who says that kinefesh u'chayvel, although it covers other food-related equipment, it can go back and also add another layer to Rechaim v'Rochav mentioned in that same pasuk. Oh, Malach, Rabbi will tell you no. I know the Amri, I feel like Rabbi Yehuda. My opinion could work even with Rabbi Yehuda. You know why? Adkan like Amar Rabbi Yehuda Hassam. Perhaps only over there by Mashka does Rabbi Yehuda say that we don't add another layer of Isra. Elo, you know why? Because, the term Kinefesh U'chayvel is needed because you can't necessarily draw other pieces of equipment from the fact that the Torah warned against taking Rechaim v'Rochav. Perhaps Rechaim v'Rochav are unique. You can't take the grinder, but about a KitchenAid mixer, right? The pasuk needs to add. No, don't take anything. Kinefesh U'chayvel. So certainly over here, I can fully understand that the word Kinefesh U'chayvel is not going back on Rechaim. It's not needed for. It's needed for other things. So you can't sort of compound the Isra. But over here by the Korban Pesach, what's the pasuk says? You know what? Don't eat it raw. Don't eat it cooked. What's left? Roasted. It's the only other form, the remaining form of eating. So why does the pasuk have to even add that? Shmamna l'lav. Apparently, the Torah is telling you that if he eats it in any other fashion than fully roasted, he has committed another lav as well. And Rashi says, well, maybe the pasuk is telling you how to eat it. Mitzvah say to eat it roasted. We have another pasuk for that. It's not needed for positive instruct. Rather, it's for a negative instruct, for Leisa said, coming to add another layer to the Isser. Abai, on the other hand, will tell you, Ano da Amri, Afilu Rabbi Yehuda. Although when it comes to Karban Pesach, I discount the general phrase, but by Mashkin over here now, Sugya, I can follow even Rav Huna's opinion, who adds another layer to the Isser. You know why? Perhaps it's only there by the Mashkin, where Rav Huna adds another Isser. Because the words, right? Kinefesh U'chaylev is extra. Right? It's needed, Rashi says, to include other pieces of equipment, and once we have it for that, so yeah, it's a generic term that can cover millstones as well. So it adds another layer of Isser to the Rechaim V'Rochav. Given the Yiserahu, once it's extra, and coming to add and include the other items of food-related equipment, Shadi, Rechaim V'Rochav, we also added to Rechaim V'Rochav and tack on this Isser to them as well. But here by the Karban Pesach, there's a totally different purpose for these words. Ki'im tzli'esh, lavi seirahu. That's not coming to add another lav, another Isser. It's needed for a totally different halacha. Do we look at this sanya? It's needed for the halacha found in the following brayso in terms of timing. What's the timing of the Isser? A person eats a Karban Pesach, Erev Pesach during the day. Cooked. Is he over an Isser? The Torah ties the two things together, the positive and the negative. When you're meant to eat it properly, clean tzli'esh, meaning at night. Then you have an Isser, a flip side, don't eat it raw or cooked. When the mitzvah of eating it properly, eating it roasted, applies, meaning Pesach at night, at that time you shouldn't eat it improperly. But when it's not yet time to eat it roasted, it's the of Pesach in the afternoon, right? So that part of the pasuk is not applicable. So the flip side isn't either. There's no law of Baltei. When you meant to eat it right, but not when it's still premature, when it's still Erev Pesach. That's the point of the pasuk mentioning Ki'im Tzli'esh. Don't eat it this way, don't eat that, eat it this way. Meaning, when you meant to eat it this way, then don't eat it that way. So if that's the case, we really have no basis for adding another Isser to Mevushal. You only have your own Isser. The end of the pasuk, Ki'im Tzli'esh, is a totally different halacha, a totally different purpose. Okay, let's recap today's DAF. We discussed the Isser of entering the Leva's home to pick up a mashkin, but the Arev, that's different. Likewise, if it's just picking up a salary, that's different, for a job or whatever, unless it was turned into a milva. Taking a mashkin from an almana is asur, according to Rabbi Yehuda in all cases, according to Rabbi Shimon only an aniyah, because it can generate bad reputation. Regarding the Isser of Noshim for the Melech, we have a similar machlokes, and it's based on the Tam of the Kra. Then we have a discussion regarding the Isser of taking food-related equipment. Torah specifies Rechaim V'Rochav. The question is, do we add another Isser as well, because it is food-related equipment? The Gemara tied it into the idea of Lav Shel Klolis, which we find in Psachim. And the Gemara at the end of the day said that two things are disconnected, and the opinions can actually cross over and agree with each other. All the best to you.